Hello there, my wonderful misfortunes. It's delightful to have you back here on the channel where we explore the enchanting realm of magnificent mishaps. Today, we're plunging into the depths of Season 1, Episode 4 of the Gilded Age, titled A Long Ladder. If you happen to miss the breakdown of Episode 3, be sure to catch up by watching that video. However, before we embark on this adventure, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell, ensuring you never miss any of the exhilarating new content I bring to you. Now let's delve into the intricate details of this captivating episode. In this episode titled A Long Ladder, the story kicks off with the somber funeral of Patrick Morris. As the guests gather, they can't help but gossip about Mrs. Morris and the tragic circumstances surrounding her husband's death. However, amidst this sorrowful event, an even greater calamity strikes the Van Rhijn household. Pumpkin, their beloved pup, manages to escape his leash and disappears without a trace. The situation is so dire that someone calls the New York Police Department for help. For Ada and Bannister, it's an absolute disaster, especially since Bannister was the one responsible for losing Pumpkin. But fear not, for it is the Russells who come to the rescue, finding the lost pup and initiating a crossroad communication that sets the stage for this week's episode. While the anticipated clash between Agnes and Bertha is yet to unfold, we are treated to a delightful exchange between butler and butler, as Church takes Bannister on a grand tour of the Russell mansion. This gives the show another opportunity to showcase the opulence of the Russell estate, and personally, I wouldn't mind seeing it every week. Moreover, it allows Bannister to playfully criticize his counterpart's choice of menu and spoons, which sends the Russell household into a frenzy downstairs. In the realm of 61st Street affairs, Larry failed to catch on to Oscar's scheme involving Gladys, but George, on the other hand, was quick to pick up on it. While Bertha might be excited about such a match, George is less enthused, especially after Oscar's questionable actions during last week's great train stomp. However, Oscar will have to be patient because George and his secretary, Richard Clay, have their hands full with Grand Central Jay Gould and JP Morgan. Despite Russell's ruthless tactics prevailing, he understands that this is not the way to go. It's time to strike a deal and assist Fane in recovering his losses. In return, he hopes that the esteemed Charity Women Esquire will support the idea of introducing Bertha into high society. Fane holds the key to Russell's desires, yet Aurora is correct in stating that she is not the one he truly requires. His heart yearns for Mrs. Astor, and thus Aurora takes it upon herself to maneuver Bertha into the picture. It all begins with an invitation to the Symphony fundraiser for the Red Cross, a clever move by Aurora. Not only has she extended an invitation to Marian as well, but she has ensured that the two will be seated together before the evening concludes. After her recent experience at a predominantly white newspaper, Peggy has shifted her focus towards a more achievable goal, the New York Globe, a renowned black newspaper of that time. Mr. Fortune, the editor of the Globe, has expressed interest in meeting with her. Their encounter at the printing press is nothing short of a meet cute. Suddenly, Peggy finds herself not only writing fiction, but also being commissioned by Fortune to write a 200-word piece on women's voting rights. To everyone's surprise, Agnes doesn't react with the expected horror upon hearing this news. However, she insists on remaining oblivious to the content of Peggy's political article. It's not entirely unreasonable for her to advise Peggy to keep this part of the news a secret when she visits Brooklyn. The Scotts would be thrilled to hear about their daughter's publication, but her father wouldn't appreciate her stirring up controversy. Let's take a moment to appreciate something truly extraordinary in the world of period dramas. A Black American middle-class family surrounded by their loyal servants, enjoying a meal in their own home. This particular scene is an absolute joy to behold. After savoring their delicious crab dishes, I find myself yearning for an entire series dedicated solely to Mama Scott and her rebellious daughter, Peggy, with a focus on their drugstore. Oh, and can we just take a moment to talk about that stunning brownstone? The expression on Marian's face when she laid eyes on it was priceless. Honestly, she should have grabbed her shoes, hopped back into the carriage, and headed straight home. And that, my dear friends, is when we witness another unexpected moment in this period piece. It's a bold call out to the oblivious privilege of white ladies and a harsh reminder to Marian that Peggy Scott will never be her equal or friend, no matter how much she may pretend otherwise. Even Sanditon never dared to go this far. How do you tackle a dilemma like Marian? It's as if Julian Fellows believes that an American accent automatically equates to innocence and sunshine. But let's be real, that just doesn't cut it. I want to see the silent frustration simmering beneath the surface of Ladies Mary, Edith, and Sybil, or else I'm out. Maybe it was forgivable when Marian was still new in town and it made sense in Brooklyn. However, the rest of the episode falls disappointingly flat. Marian should know better than to engage in conversation with Mrs. Chamberlain. It's a major social faux pas, and this insistence on portraying her as an innocent doe-eyed creature does her character no justice. It's almost fitting that Mrs. Chamberlain's arrival coincides with Agnes and Ada's presence, raising suspicions that someone unsuitable like Rakes is courting her niece. Well, someone definitely is. Of course, Marian pays no heed to Ada's advice and ventures into the Chamberlain townhouse, treating us to a glimpse of the opulent sitting room and the breathtaking gallery adorned with paintings and sculptures. Finally, we discover the nature of her social transgression. She was Mr. Chamberlain's mistress, whom he married after his wife's passing. Considering the Turners reside downstairs, it's no wonder she's ostracized. And the grand finale of the symphony, Agnes will have plenty to complain about. Not only does Marian genuinely befriend Bertha, but Rhijns also makes an appearance. I can't help but wonder how much effort Rhijns is putting into engineering these friendships just to pursue Marian. He may seem as innocent and naive as she is, but deep down I secretly hope he turns out to be the most ambitious social climber of them all. However, when it comes to this starry-eyed romance, I agree with Mrs. Russell. If the guy doesn't have money, he won't be able to sustain this lavish lifestyle. Marian can be as pure-hearted as she wants, but marrying a man who is oblivious to such debts is a recipe for disaster. Did you need bits from the episode? Did you know that it was the Vanderbilts who were responsible for constructing Grand Central Depot way back in 1871? But here's the twist. There were some mysterious negotiations and behind-the-scenes maneuvering, particularly when it came to the Hudson River Bridge. Timothy Thomas Fortune, a groundbreaking Black journalist, provides accurate historical information in his writings. Oh, Miss Grant, we barely had the chance to get to know you. Bloomingdale Brothers started off as a hoop-skirt store in 1861. However, in 1886, it relocated to 59th Street and transformed into Bloomingdale's. Initially, I thought George was referring to the Borky Rail disaster, but that would have been anachronistic since it happened in 1888. However, the high number of casualties indicates that he was actually talking about the Cherney Railway accident in 1882. Bridget appears to be a pleasant young lady, but the most thrilling event downstairs this week was undoubtedly the spectacle of George evicting Turner from his bedroom. She had the audacity to express her desire to construct a temple in honor of George's greatness. I must say, girl, George already has a devoted and strong-willed wife who serves as his temple, despite her occasional flaws. Bertha truly is an extraordinary wife to George, and he certainly doesn't require a mistress, especially someone like Turner. I truly wish he had dismissed her. I have a strong intuition that this decision will ultimately backfire on George without a doubt. That's a wrap for this episode. I'm eager to hear your thoughts on what went down and which moments stood out to you the most. From the highlights to the not so favorite parts, I'm all ears. Until we meet again, take good care of yourself